You know those big purchases in your garden that you plan for, you save for, they happen once a year and you get the emails for it, you decide which varieties you want, and you know you have to buy it soon. As soon as they go on sale, they're in danger of selling out because they're very popular. Okay, so things like garlic, onions, and potatoes come to mind. Some bare root flowers or strawberry plants. There are certain things that go on sale every year, and you grab them up and you tuck that away and you say, tick it off the list. That's one thing I don't have to worry about. Well, I did that last year with seed potatoes, and I got started getting the emails. And I like to use a place called Grand Teton Organics. It's a great outfit out west, and they have tons and tons of varieties, and I've used them for several years now. I'm very pleased with their pricing and their availability. They're just the best. So last year was no different. I ordered from Grand Teton Organics, decided what I wanted to order, placed a sizable but, manageable enough order, and thought nothing else about it. Well, the new year rolled around and I panicked. I could not remember whether or not I had bought those seed potatoes. I checked my email like I always do to see if I had the receipt. I looked up potato invoice, Grand Teton Organics, the whole thing, right? Couldn't find them. So, in a hurry, in a rush, I thought, oh no, I did not buy the seed potatoes that I want, and he might not have the varieties I need. So, I went ahead hurriedly, hastily. I went ahead and bought more. I think I bought like $200 worth, and thought, oh, darn, I should have learned my lesson. Next time I'll know better. Well, it turns out that I actually did buy them the first time, and several months later, I bought them the second time. This is only the first time this has ever happened to me, and wow. I a $300 purchase that you're not expecting to have to make is it's not going to close the business, but it's definitely something that you don't want to do. It's really hard to make a profit on potatoes when you've bought them twice. So I saw the huge big box there, planted them out, and was super happy to get rid of all the potatoes. And I planted them out when I wanted to last year in February. And so imagine my surprise when, 1st of March, I got another box of potatoes. So I asked around to all my farmer friends. I was able to get rid of some of them, but not all of them. So I had already planted out everything that I wanted to, and I thought, well, since I've got several pounds of seed potatoes extra, I've planted them everywhere I could. I planted them in every grow bag I could find. I gave away as many as I could. I sold some at cost. So I was left with several pounds, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to have run an experiment. I want to see if these seed potatoes will germinate after a year in my basement. That's right. You heard it right. I kept seed potatoes on the floor in my basement for a year. The reason I wanted to see what would happen. Like they started to grow into these strange grotesque things, like they looked like potatoes for a really long time, and then they shrank down, and I didn't take any pictures of that, but they shrank down and then they started to grow, and I was really intrigued by it, and then I was really grossed out by it. And right around February of this year, I grabbed some soil. I used my Dirtcraft Organics Levitation seedling mix because I wanted them to have the best chance of success. And I put some of these horrible looking little shriveled nuggets in a 1020 bottom tray with no holes and filled it mostly with soil. And I waited. And lo and behold, these potato plants did sprout. The vast majority of them did. If they had green, light green, and still pliable eyes, they already had some green shoots that had grown up over that course of a year. You could expect to have that happen, but they did grow. The ones that were still pliable after the year, there were some that were crunchy. Like there was like a German butterball variety that was kind of crunchy, and those were just kind of dried out and dead. I found that the purple Majesty potatoes that I had stayed good the longest, and they still had like a pliable green node. And even if there was not anything really alive still, I put that shriveled little bit in soil, and sure enough, the vast majority, I would say about 60 to 70% of the seed potatoes that I put in soil did actually sprout and germinate after a whole year in my basement. So I'm definitely confident that if you buy seed potatoes, you buy too many of them, you could replicate this experiment. And if you wanted to, I don't know if, depending on the zone you live in, you can get a couple uh, growings or a couple plantings of potatoes in an entire season. So where I live, if I wanted to, I plant potatoes out as early as February, 1st of February, but then I can also get a fall planting in, and I probably could plant those around sometime in July. So worst case scenario, if you've got extra seed potatoes and you didn't get around to planting them in the spring, hold them to the summer and try for that second planting. Or worst case scenario, you can do what I did and hold them in your basement and plant them, and you're going to get a sizable amount of them to germinate for you, and you will still have potatoes. So I thought this was a fun little experiment. It took me a whole year to see a result, so I wanted to make sure I looped you guys in. I closed a loop on my year-long experiment, and I'm happy to report that these guys that you see here in this tray are going in the garden, and they are going to grow potatoes. And I'm going to tell you about the potatoes that they grow, and I will show you them as well. After they have done all they're going to do this year, I'll dig them up and show you in another video. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I'm really happy about this. I'm happy that I was able to close the loop on it, and it actually did work. Yeah, I know that you could have spent your time with anyone, but you chose to spend it with me in these last few minutes. And I do appreciate it. I want you to get out there, get growing, and bye for now.